Okay, hi everybody. This is the TBR. I already mentioned I was going to read. What was that again? Perfect Poison. I forgot to do it until now, but the TBR. I'm going to start. I'm going to read The Witch Tree Symbol, Nancy Drew, Mystery Stories number 33 by Carolyn King. I'm wondering if this is the ones that are actually done by her, because I know at a certain point she dies, I think, and somebody took over the writing name. Something I don't know. Wait, I don't know what this one's about. I'll tell you. When a neighbor asked Nancy Drew to accompany her to an old, uninhabited mansion, a new mystery opens up and danger lurks on the second floor. Nancy finds a witch tree symbol that leads her to Pennsylvania Dutch country in pursuit of a cunning and ruthless thief. The friendly welcome the young detective and her friends Bess and George receive from the Amish people soon changes to hostility when it is rumored that Nancy is a witch. Superstition helps her adversary in his attempt to get her off his trail, but Nancy does not give up. Persistently, she uncovers one clue after another. Nancy's intelligence and sleuthing ability finally lead to the fascinating solution to this puzzling case. I have to admit, you would have made a very good psychologist. I do not know what book comes after this. Give Blanche an office with a couch and a license to charge by the hour. I don't know. I think it mentions it at the end, though. Like what book to expect next. Doorbell. Nope. I don't know. It may. Okay,
Morning, Miss Bornak. Can we come in?
Then Slow Death by Jim Fielder, the sickest serial torture slayer ever to stalk the Southwest. Beside New Mexico's Elephant Booty Lake stood a windowless trailer which owner David Parker Ray, 59, and his girlfriend Cynthia Handy, 39, called the Toy Box, a 100,000 homemade torture chamber. It was equipped with whips, chains, pulleys, straps, clamps, leg spreader bars, and surgical blades and saws. A camcorder stood next to the leather-padded torture table, set up for making snuff videos, while a ceiling-mounted video monitor allowed female victims to see every excruciating details of the agonies inflicted on them by their captors. That was one of the rules David Ray kept. Oh, sorry. Never trust a chained captive. Never trust a chained captive. That was one of the rules David Ray kept posted as a reminder to himself and his followers. Its truth was proven on March 22nd, 1999, when after surviving a 3-day torture orgy, Cindy Vigil, 22, stabbed Handy with an ice pick and escaped. Clad only in a slave collar and padlock chains, she told police that she had been kidnapped, raped, and tortured by Ray and Handy. A second victim, Angie Montano, 27, came forward to describe how she survived a similar ordeal less than a month before. If she's worth taking, she's worth keeping. Satanist Ray was the center of a web of sadism, sex slavery, and murder. His disciple drifter Dennis Roy Yancey confessed to strangling to death Marie Parker, 22, while Ray took photos. Ray's daughter, Jessie, 31, was convicted of helping her father kidnap and torture Kelly Van Clevey, 22. Cynthia Handy told authorities that Ray had killed 14 women. Police believe that he may have slain more than 60. On September 20th, 2001, Ray was sentenced to 224 years in prison. 16 pages of shocking photos.
This is the proudest I've been of you in my whole life.
Thanks, Ma.
Can you believe it? My whole life, and this is the proudest I've ever been. I'm depressed. I need a cookie.
Not too shocking, but wait. That's shocking.
Well, let's get to work. Hop in the chair.
Dr. Norgan.
Hey, what's this Dr. Norgan? What happened to Lou?
All
I'm gonna read
There's something I have to talk to you
Black Beauty and other horse stories.
Here we go. Now, Rose, what is it that you wanted to talk to me about?
Well,
Give me a minute before I actually start reading this, okay?
Now, Rose, don't be ridiculous. You can feel free to discuss any subject with me. Certainly, I remember our last appointment. Bill's already in the
You are invited to a celebration of the strength and beauty and nobility of the horse. Here is a collection of horse stories that will delight and entertain readers of all ages. Who could forget Black Beauty after having read Anna Sewell's charming tale, or read The Gift from the Red Pony, and remain unmoved by John Steinbeck's tender story of a boy and his horse? These are the classic horse stories you will want to read again and again, stories enlivened by such unforgettable horses as Silver Blaze from the exciting Sherlock Holmes adventure, and the incomparable Genuine Mexican Plug from Mark Twain's Raucous Tale. Nathaniel Hawthorne recounts the myth of Pegasus, the winged horse of ancient Greece, and the names of other horses met here invoke their tales: Black Eagle, Ting-a-ling, Satan, Heroine, Rakush. The stories are enhanced by illustrations that reveal the horses in all his moods and forms. Sidney Paggett's illustrations are inseparable from the name of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, that drawing. This is the one that I found up at the other house. Whoopsie. Whoever came up. Hey. There we go. Okay, give me a minute. I'll show you more.
Oh no. You're not a substitute nurse too, are you?
I'm sorry about your knee. You know, you wouldn't have been blindsided if you'd stayed in the pocket.
You know football.
Then I'm gonna read To Live Again.
I see some people have already signed
The
your
last Don
Yeah,
Rochelle
guys
book.
from the team. Are you signing it?
correcting it.
Don Rochelle looks like any other 17-year-old girl, but looks can be deceiving. At the age of 13, Dawn was diagnosed with leukemia. Now, almost 3 years into remission, Dawn is a senior in high school and looking forward to college. But her plans are disrupted when she suffers another medical crisis that causes partial paralysis. The doctors are optimistic
People have been trying to get me to be serious for years.
about her recovery, but Dawn finds herself giving in to despair. At least during remission, she could try to forget about her cancer and pretend she was a normal girl. But the effects of the paralysis are impossible to hide. Dawn thought her bad times were over. Will she be able to find the strength and courage to live again?
Well, you could push the call button, but I'll be done with the book by the time the nurse gets here. So,
Yeah, I don't know if I said this. This is the TBR for February. I know I said TBR, but I didn't know if I said February.
it was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to read all these in February. Try. I don't know. Let me give me a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 books in this series. Okay. Then I'm going to read... Oh, that was by Laurel McDaniels, if nobody knows. Then I'm going to read Steve Jackson's Rough Trade, a shocking true story of prostitution and murder. This was actually my mom's, and then I liked it so much that I asked her for it, and she gave it to me before, she died. And I also got that other book from her, Kill Grandma, for me. That was actually one of my favorites, and I begged her for it, and she let me have it. Because normally I would read to her anyway, so she let me just gave it to me. She went from cop to hooker to hero. On May 16, 1997, a petite 22-year-old prostitute named Anita Paley died in a Denver hospital. Her head had been bludgeoned, her genitals slashed by her crazed attacker. Police soon arrested psychotic murderer Robert Regan, but to put him away, prosecutors needed one key witness. Joanna Cordova was a former cop-turned-crack addict and hooker who had submitted to violent sex with Regan in exchange for drugs before narrowly escaping the same fate as her friend, Anita Paley. Now she had to do the right thing and to tell a jury just how brutal Regan was. But first she had to clean up her act. New York Times bestselling author Steve Jackson tells the riveting story of a monster who preyed on women, his tragic final victim, and the woman who pulled herself out of a seething criminal underworld and her own private hell to see justice done.
I hope you enjoy this candy.
Includes 16 pages of shocking photos. Now this one, I think, it does have like bad photos. Yeah, at least this one, it shows body.
It means that ever since he made a fortune
Poor
on that
woman.
baked potato opening, he's been coming on to you like gangbusters, and I don't like it. Not that I've ever
Again?
actually
Wait a
seen
minute.
gangbusters. But I did see Ghostbusters. I didn't like that either. I mean, they couldn't give the black guy one funny line. And how about that sequel? Dorothy, what the hell were we just talking about?
Look, Mom, Stan and I have a long history
Last two.
together, and it's nice that we're finally able to talk to each other as friends.
Friends are one thing, Dorothy, but he's your ex-company.
I'm going to read Goosebumps, number 43, The Beast from the East, R.L. Stein. He's a real animal. Ginger Wald and her identical twin brothers, Nat and Pat, are lost in the woods. No problem. After all, Ginger did go to that stupid nature camp. Still, there's something odd about this part of the woods. The grass is yellow, the bushes are purple, and the trees are like skyscrapers. Then Ginger and her brothers meet the beasts. They're big, blue, furry creatures, and they want to play a game. The winner gets to live. The losers get eaten.
So there's this cognitive dissonance between her actual and her ideal self, which causes her to be practically dysfunctional. But of course, I'm no psychologist. No, you're a nitwit. How come you know those words?
Blanche, come on, it's not nice calling her a nitwit, but since the cat's out of the bag, how do you know those words?
I guess it's from reading the American Journal of Abnormal Psychology. It's published in St. Olaf, you know. In fact, my Uncle Gunter used to be the editor. And what were you, the centerfold? I'm sorry, but I refuse to believe you have ever read a scientific journal. Believe what you want, see if I can.
And I'm going to read Married to Murder. He promised his love till death do them part, by Robert Scott. As seen on 2020. On the morning of December 30th, 1978, in Littleton, Colorado, Robert Spangler lured his wife, Nancy, to the basement with the promise of a surprise. He then shot her in the head with a .38 handgun. Going upstairs, he shot his teenage children, Susan and David. David was slow in dying, so his father finished him off by smothering him with a pillow. Spangler had cunningly framed the crime scene, making it appear that his wife had shot their children and then herself. Now he was free to marry his new love, Sharon Cooper. A former high school athlete, he hiked the Grand Canyon with Sharon, who chronicled the trip in a book dedicated to her soulmate, Spangler. But their happiness was short-lived. The marriage ended in a costly, messy divorce. In April 1993, when Spangler's third marriage to 59-year-old aerobics instructor Donna Sundling went sour, he took her hiking in the Grand Canyon and pushed her off a 140-foot drop to her death. In 1994, when ex-wife Sharon committed suicide, Spangler became the focus of intense police scrutiny. Racked with brain cancer, he told all the investigators in the fall of 2000, detailing a shocking serial saga, the story of a 2-time widower and a 4-time killer.
It's a curse. My beauty's always been a curse. I'm sorry, Dorothy, but like the fatal blossom of the graceful Jimson weed, I entice with my fragrance but can provide no succor.
I'm talking about Stanley, you idiot.
Yeah, I want these books, though.
For me, not you, Fatal Blossom. For me.
I want them. Did you write all them?
Walk this morning on the beach and he told
Yep.
me.
Definitely want Dangerous Attraction and then Rope Burn. Well, that's all I'm planning on reading right now. If I do, plan on reading any more, I'll put them on here too, maybe. I don't know about Kindle yet. I still haven't decided on what to read on it. Thinking that Twilight kind of thing. It's Forks. If you guys know what that is, I don't know. A.E. something wrote it, and then maybe some other book on it. I don't know. I'm still torn on certain books on that thing. Well, bye everybody.